Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are going to be playing around with the autumn and fall equinox to see what it is that you are planting and harvesting this new season. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back my beautiful kindred spirits and anyone new who may be joining us here today on the channel. It's wonderful to have you all here. We are going to be looking into the equinox that is happening today as of when I am posting this. It's lovely to have it actually hitting the day of. So some of us are moving into the spring season as well as the fall season over in the southern hemisphere. So this is going to be a reading that is going to be useful to both seasons with that planting and harvesting energy, and I'll talk more about it when we get to each of the piles, but I'm very excited. These are one of my favorite videos to film, so I do hope you are excited here with me. And also, if you are new, do feel free and consider subscribing, as I put out new videos every single Monday, and I would love to have you join along as we move into this new season and the new energy that it brings with these readings. So do feel free to subscribe, and if you'd like to, you can also support the channel down below with the Kindred tip jar. Everything that goes into there goes right back into the channel. You're also welcome to check out the other offerings I have down below for private readings for both digital and snail mail readings. The snail mail readings are my personal favorites, as I send a reading to you typed up on a vintage typewriter in the mail for you to treasure and enjoy and see the beautiful messages that are coming in for you on whatever question or query on your mind. So do feel free to check all of that out down below, and we are going to go ahead and start looking at these piles. So for each of the piles, I wanted to bring in something green because personally I'm moving into spring and I'm really feeling those green colors. I'm very excited for the season of spring, but I know over on the fall I wanted to bring in some of those elements here too. So here for pile number 1, we have this little dried green leaf, and this is a green ash leaf from a green ash tree. So if this one is calling out to you, then this is pile number 1. Here for pile number 2, we have this little candle in the shape of a green succulent in a little tin candle holder. So that is pile number 2. And then last but not least, for pile number 3 here, we have this piece of emerald with these little sparkling pieces of mica as well. So those, or that rather, is pile number 3. So before you start heading off to the timestamps, I like to invite you in to take a deep and cleansing breath and to really ground with your energy here and with the piles. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles here. You can choose all 3 of the piles, you can choose 1 or 2, flip-flop between them. There really is no right or wrong way. So do feel free to check out all of the timestamps down below alongside the chapter marks of this video. And if you'd like to, you're welcome to also check out those different private readings, the Kindred tip jar, as well as my Instagram as a great way to connect with the community even further, as well as the different things that I get up to over there and the behind the scenes stuff. So all of that will be down below, and we're going to go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this little green ash tree leaf, then this is the pile for you. Now set your little leaf down here so you can see it during your reading here today, as like I mentioned, we are going to be looking into not only what you are planting but also what you are harvesting. So this aligns with both the southern and northern hemisphere right now, as we are moving and shifting into a new season for all sides of the world. This is a perfect time for planting things, harvesting things, understanding the dynamic between those two, right? So as we go throughout this reading, we are going to be looking into both sides of those, and because of that, I want you to keep an open mind to what planting and harvesting means for you, because just because you are heading into the fall, if you're in the southern hemisphere, doesn't mean you aren't allowed to plant something. And same with the spring hemisphere, or the northern hemisphere with the spring season coming in. It doesn't mean we have to be planting something. Maybe you planted something back in the fall in terms of energetically planting something, or planting a new idea, or something in your career, or whatever it might be. It might be harvesting now in the spring, which seems very juxtaposition, sort of opposites kind of moment, but that's the reality of the situation sometimes, right? And that beginnings can happen at any time, and harvesting those plants and fruition of our ideas can also happen at any time. So try not to think too much about the timing and where you are and what season you're going into too much, and more just see what energetically feels from the past and what feels like is coming in for you personally. So with that in mind, I hope that did make sense. We are going to be using the charms as well as several different oracle decks and a tarot deck of the Antique Anatomy, which has a great blend between those botanicals and that fall season feeling. And I'll have all of that listed in the description down below. But we're actually going to be beginning here with the Seed and Sickle Oracle. This one's full of botanicals, and I absolutely love it for this because it has both these dawn and dusk meanings that align with both that planting and harvesting message. So we're going to pull one card for each side here and build off of it as we go out throughout the reading with what you are planting and harvesting. So do feel free to get settled, send your energy in through time and space, and let's see what you are planting or have previously planted. So what is it that's coming in the planting side of things for group 1 right now? What seeds are beginning to grow within them? Planting, group 1. Okay, so we have verbena. This is number 42. It's in the winter suit, so that might give you a bit of timing in case you're not sure if you've already planted this or if it's, if you're looking for a bit of that timing message, it could be happening within the winter when you planted this. But verbena, this one is all about sort of interesting collaborations and teamwork, right? You can see that we have like sort of this eel, a bird, and like almost an elk sort of silhouettes here, and all of them are sort of showcasing this idea of collaboration, working together. And with the idea of like teamwork and collaboration, it has a lot to do with planting not from a dishonest place, right? So this is saying that right now, things that you could be planting and bringing into your life energetically, that this is a really good time to do so, are things around collaboration and teamwork. So maybe you might be feeling like collaborating with someone within your career, could be someone more in terms of a collaboration, in terms of like a new friendship or a friend group that you're kind of gaining and moving into, or maybe you're signing up for a new class that you want to take and being around other people. But it has something to do with some sort of community that you're joining in or really trying to plant something new within. And the important thing about verbena is you can see it's not a whole bunch of the same kind of person, right? Or same kind of animal here. You all have unique strengths that you're going to be bringing together. And the reason why you're collaborating, the reason why it's so useful for you to do something collaboratively instead of independently, is because of the skills and the particular attributes that you have, that you bring to the table, as well as other people bringing to the table, that makes something so much better than if it were done independently. So I really feel like right now, the thing that you're being showcased right now to sort of plant within your life is some sort of collaboration. Join a dance class, collaborate with someone within your workplace, find a way to maybe even collaborate, not even necessarily for work, maybe it's just getting your coworkers together for some outing outside of work, so you guys can work better together when you're in work, right? So whatever it is that you feel like you have a particular set of skills or a particular part of yourself or personality that really shines through, allowing that to shine through honestly and openly is going to help bring in these collaborations as well. So that's what I'm getting here from verbena, but let's see your harvest side. So it could be that when you plant this, what you might see here is what you're going to harvest if you do plant this energy into your life. Otherwise, you can also see it the reverse side, right? Because you harvested something in the past, in your like past 6 months, that might be the reason why this is coming forward. So you can see it both ways. Like I said, timing is going to be very personal and subjective here, especially with such a large pool of the collective watching. But let's see, what is it that you are harvesting, group 1? Harvesting energy. In energy, in career, in self-growth. Okay, so it kind of came out at self-growth, but we'll see. Okay, so we have chickweed. I love chickweed. This is such a beautiful spring flower. It is like one of the very first spring flowers that pop up where I live. So it is a really great indication of hope and of positivity and optimism. And it's such a little flower, right? So many people walk right past chickweed. It's so tiny. It's like this big. So it's really easy to walk past these flowers and the beautiful blooms that they bring, because it's something that you have to kneel down and look at and really enjoy. So it's enjoying those small, simple things that you're going to be able to gain from this, or that what you're harvesting from this maybe isn't going to be affecting a huge portion of your life, but I do think it's going to create these small little shifts that slowly start to bloom and create an impact in your life. So like I said, this is from the spring suit. It's a spring flower, and it also has the number 9 here. And because it is an early blooming flower as well, it also makes me think that the quicker you jump on this planting, the more likely that you're going to get the benefits of what's coming from chickweed as well. So if, like I said, you feel like this is something that you haven't already planted in your life and it's something you've been thinking about and it's been kind of maybe on the back burner lately, this is the time to really start to jump on it and make real plans to make this collaboration happen, this new class that you take, this new adventure with others, a new community that you might be building or joining might be coming in to create such benefits in your life. And like I said, it's going to be small and simple, but I feel like you're going to really be able to take them in one at a time, and that really builds and builds over time. So with that said, let's go ahead and build on these with some tarot cards, and they might give us a little bit more information on the specifics. So let's start first with the planting side with verbena and see what this collaboration holds for you, maybe more details on where it's coming from in your life. So as always, do feel free to send your energy in, and we will see. So we have both the Knight of Rods and the 8, and the 8 of Rods as well. So this makes a lot of sense to me because, like I said, I feel like there's a hesitation that's been present with this card. I feel like it's something maybe you've been thinking about for a while. It's something that, it's really easy to put it aside, maybe because it feels very social. Like I said, if it is with work, I feel like it's less about what you're doing in your job, like the actual physical getting things done or a project that you're working on, and it's more about like outside of your job, right? Like getting the people that you work with outside of it in a social setting, or creating community, creating closer bonds with those in your workplace or those who you are joining community within. Because what I have showing up here is the 8 of Rods, and this is about fast flowing, passionate energy, very quick, very fast. And so if it isn't you initiating this planting, it could be that someone in your life might bring up in the next couple of weeks, especially, right? Like, because I feel like it has something to do with very early, quick moving energy. So within like the next 8 weeks, I could see that someone might come forward as well, especially since we have the Knight of Rods here, which can sometimes indicate a person, someone coming forward and being like, hey, do you want to go out for drinks? Or, hey, do you want to join this class that I'm taking? Or, hey, do you want to, whatever it is. And I feel like someone might be inviting you in to some sort of social setting or a new community that you have been maybe on the fence about before, or you've been hoping that maybe someone would help get you out of your comfort zone in that and plant that seed in your life. So I really think that there might be someone coming in to help make this happen. Because you have the Knight of Rods, this could be someone who's maybe in their 20s, 30s. It doesn't have to be. This is just, some of the personality traits of this card. Someone who's kind of younger in spirit, who has a lot of passion. They seem very charismatic, very outgoing, and they also seem just very, sure of themselves, quite confident, but not arrogant, right? They're a really nice, sociable person. I feel like that's why they really have a lot of creative, exciting energy to bring to the table that can help you bring some more of this verbena energy into your life. And I think they could be a really great catalyst and reason to be invited into this sort of energy. So with that said, let's look on the harvest side now with chickweed. So like I said, it's going to be that you're really going to be gaining a lot of positivity, optimism, a bit of even an excitement bubbling up within you because of this. And I can also see that new opportunities might grow slowly and start to present themselves slowly down a chain of events, because this first invite, right, that first invite might lead you to meet someone who then would, and it just keeps going and going and going. I just feel like there's a chain of events that are going to transpire because of this one planted seed, which will lead to others. So I want to see what other things might be coming in because of this first opportunity, collaboration, kind of invite energy. So what do we have coming in here, group? 1. So we have the Knight of Coins, so more of that Knight energy. This could even represent you. The Knight of Coins has a lot to do with taking things slow. They're very cautious. They don't like risk. They like to take things quite slowly, earnestly, with a place of safety. They like to, it's more of that turtle versus the hare energy. And so I see that coming through, that I really feel like that could be you in this scenario, that you feel like you bring that cautious side to the table, which isn't a bad thing, right? Sometimes we can be told off around other people that that's kind of boring or slow or, whatever it might be. But again, the turtle always does win the race. So there is some beautiful energy from this card. But what's interesting is I had another card here, and it is the King of Rods. So, right, I almost feel like by taking up this opportunity to hang out with someone or something like that, some sort of new socialization, like I said, a bunch of chain of events might happen for you. And what you'll be harvesting from that is a lot of gaining, like I said, when different people come together, a community of people come together, we share ideas, skills, personality traits, right? We start to learn from our friends, right? And sometimes you kind of gain confidence from others, or you can lift up and be encouraged to be more confident. And I see a lot of confidence coming in from this knight, or a king rather, of rods, which I really think that seeing as we have it moving from a knight energy to a king energy, you're really starting to step into it. So I do see this being a really healthy, beautiful friendship that you might be building with this person, or maybe they're already a really close friend, and because of that, they're going to help you to uplift yourself a little bit more by getting out of your comfort zone. So I really see this being a very healthy, beautiful, uplifting relationship with someone. As it feels like a friendship for sure, but it might lead to other kinds of opportunities to meet other types of people, and maybe other people that are going to help see some of those confident things within you. And confidence doesn't always mean being very in your face kind of confidence. It can be a subtle type of confidence that might be coming up and growing within you as well. So that's what I'm seeing here. I want to pull a little bit more as always. So we're going to see some advice coming through from each side of these. You're welcome to send in and invite your own spirit team, your gods, goddesses, spirit guides, whoever you may be working with here, to send in this advice. And then we're going to pull a bridge card as well as pull out some charms for you. So what is the advice coming through for verbena? First, we'll start with that planting side. Group 1. Okay, interesting. I feel like that goes to this side, honestly, so I'm going to leave that one there. But for the planting side, let's see a little bit more. Group 1. Okay, that definitely feels right. So on this side, we have grow. All flowers must grow through dirt. It's so important, right? We got to go through some of the crappier, uncomfortable, discomfort kind of sides, seeking discomfort as a means to grow. And I think that a lot of us want to do these more spontaneous, invite kind of fun, new creative things that might be coming in, things you've had passion for quite a while. But the dirt is where things are solid, where things are, that's where the roots grow. That's where you feel really solid and comfortable, and you can kind of hide and keep yourself, safe. But the flowers only bloom above that. And so I really see that coming through as just a reminder to allow yourself to come out of that shell, come out of the comfort zone where you can see the sun, gain some clarity, gain some of that beautiful sunflower energy that's coming through here. I didn't realize we had 2 here, but the sunflower energy that's coming from this confidence that you'll be growing into, this looking for the optimism and the positivity in a discomforting situation. that you might be inviting yourself in or be invited into. Whereas the other side, we have Twilight here as the first card, and then we'll see what was hiding underneath, but it says Twilight here. Surrender to the last hour when light barely touches the flowers. And then below that, we have Beauty. Dare to be tender and strongly vulnerable, right? That's that risk-taking kind of moment where for others it might seem really simple, very easygoing for them, but all of us are very different. So some of the things that feel risky to others don't to us, and vice versa. And so I really see with this Twilight feeling, surrendering to those last hours when the light barely touches the flowers, right? Finding the optimism even when there isn't a lot of light around. Or this can even be a timing message too, where it can be again on that like pivotal nature that the equinox has. And then Beauty showing up here with dare to be tender and strongly vulnerable. It's really showcasing that same kind of energy of kind of coming out of your shell and allowing other people in your life being a little bit more tender and showcasing and being a little bit more vulnerable and seeing where that takes you. So let's see where that moving away from independence and into more of a community what you could gain most from it. So we're going to see a final advice card, or to see a little bit more clarity here, and then we'll be moving to the charms. But if you have enjoyed this reading so far, if you have gotten something out of it, it would be amazing if you could give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much, so thank you. But let's see this card. So do feel free to send your energy in, or any energy from your personal guides. And let's see. So I was also feeling the bottom card of the deck, so I'm going to pull both of them out, honestly. So we have both the Ace of Pentacles, which has more of that co-worker energy. So like I said, I kept getting that feeling of like taking people who you wouldn't naturally hang out with and hanging out with them. So we have the Ace of Pentacles, the ace being a seed to grow, something to plant within the pentacle suit, which has a lot to do with getting literally out of the house, physically moving and going to a different place. So like I said, if that's to find collaborations, maybe you're going to physically be invited to something new, as in like to a new club or to a new park or a new or maybe you're traveling and maybe that's going to be what it is. But here on the other side of it, the one that I was feeling on the bottom of the deck was more of that community energy and stepping up into a place of leadership even within that community, or feeling more included within that space. Because here with the Six of Wands, it usually represents someone who is victorious, who's really gained a lot from their experience, and who is, as you can see, a bunch of community members are marching alongside them and alongside this victory, positivity, optimism kind of energy, and following this leader. So I really do feel like there could be someone who is inviting you into this community for sure, and in doing so you're going to gain a lot more than you think. So I really think that your pile is just showcasing a lot of opening yourself up to an invite to an opportunity that's going to show up socially for you, and that you'll gain a lot from it in terms of gaining a community, but also a lot of confidence and understanding within yourself. So let's finish off with the charms. We're just going to pull a couple of these here. So let's see, group 1. Okay, so these are your charms. Let's zoom in. So we have a few different things showing up. Interestingly, on Twilight, you actually have quite a social charm. This usually represents celebrations like birthday parties, weddings, discos, going out somewhere, bigger social events that are showing up in your life, usually for an optimistic purpose or a really positive purpose, and that's showing up at Twilight. So again, I feel like you might be going out on the town at night with someone in that kind of setting, and maybe that's what you're looking for, some more nightlife stuff. But regardless, I think that this invite might be coming in towards something like that, a bigger social event. You also have the stars showing up here on Chickweed, which and actually falling on one of these glowing stars, which I find really interesting. So you had that showing up there. So like I said, one little event might lead to others, and I really see that showing up here even more. And whenever I see this too, it represents a lot of optimism and excitement as well. Excitement usually comes in from this charm, like a warm, a very warmth and warm and inviting kind of feeling from it. And then you have the charm of the what is this called? A Clada charm. So it represents like the heart, the hands for friendship, and then love. And so it basically is like love, friendship, and loyalty. And so I really do think that you've been very loyal to yourself, very loyal, and you've learned a lot from yourself. But by gaining these other people in your life, you're going to gain more of a circle of friendship and a lot more trust as well. I also see that grow is going to maybe be an idea that you've had in your mind for a while. We have the idea key, the key of communication as well. So growth is going to come from communication. It's going to come from, again, that invite energy, or again, you reaching out as well, right? You don't have to wait for someone to come forward. If you already know who this is, you're welcome to ask them as well and be the person who puts that first step forward. And then lastly here, we have the charm of the solar plexus energy center. And this usually represents a lot to do with like letting go of the ego, letting go of like this identity that you've always had of being maybe calm and cautious and careful, and that might be shifting and changing through this experience, and you're going to gain a lot more about your own personal identity as well. So that's everything that I'm getting here from your cards and your charms here. I do hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, like I mentioned before, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below how it resonated for you. Especially also, I would love to hear how your Ostara or Mabon spring or fall equinox energy has been, and what you celebrated and things like that. I'd love to know. You're also open to subscribing if you'd like to. Welcome to join this community if you'd like to, as I put out new videos on this channel every single Monday, and those are for your own self-growth and empowerment, and to kind of rise us all up here and to learn more about ourselves in a more holistic way. So do feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. You're also welcome to check out the different ways you could support this space with the Kindred tip jar down below. Everything that goes into there goes right back into the channel. And you're also welcome to check out the different private readings if you would like to get a private reading for yourself in love, career, your own spiritual practice, self-growth, those sorts of things. Or you can also get a snail mail reading. All of the information on that will be down below, and it directly supports myself and the channel. So I truly do appreciate anything that comes through there. And with that all said, I'm wishing you the best for your spring or fall equinox and this new exciting energy that might be coming in for you. Take the risks, take the chances. I really do think they're going to lead you somewhere. So with that all said, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2, if you've decided to choose this little candle succulent, then this is the pile for you. Let me go ahead and set it down so you can see it during your reading down here today, as we are going to be looking into both what you are planting and harvesting in the next 6 months, as we are now going into a new season. For some of us in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going into the spring season, and those of us on the Southern Hemisphere, you're moving into fall. So this is a great time whenever we're going into spring and fall. It is full of shifts in energy, especially within the weather and within nature, and then within ourselves, right? We're going through these bigger shifts and changes, and there's a lot of opportunity there for us to sort of bring change to the forefront. So because of that, it's a great time to plant things, and those of us in the fall side of things, right? You're harvesting things from the things that you've planted. But I do want to preface that it really doesn't matter what season you are in. It doesn't matter if you're moving into spring or fall. If it doesn't align with your season, as most people aren't planting things physically, like planting things in the fall, then that doesn't mean you aren't energetically allowed to plant things, right? Those of us in the height of winter sometimes get the best ideas and feel most motivated, and those of us in the summer sometimes feel the most needing for time off and to slow down. So definitely listen to this on your own personal level. See which one is really resonating, if you're more on the harvest side, more on the planting side, or maybe both are happening simultaneously. There really is no right or wrong way to look through this reading, so do feel free to see how it connects with your own life right now. But we're going to start out here, and I'll have everything listed in the description down below with the charms and the different decks that I'm using here. But we are going to see what is coming in first with this more botanical deck of the Seed and Sickle Oracle to look into what is coming in for both planting and harvesting. So let's see first what you are planting at this time, or have maybe previously planted and are now reaping the rewards. So let's see what that energy is for you, group 2. What do you have coming in? Definitely feel free to send your energy through time and space. It really does make a difference while I'm shuffling here, especially during a collective reading like this one. So group 2, what do you have coming in for your planting? What is it that you are planting? So, okay, interesting. We have mushroom, which again is a very interesting one when it comes to timing, because here we have it in the fall suit. We see a lot of mushrooms in the fall and even in the late summer, and it showcases the number 31 in case 3 or 1 is resonating for you on a personal level or from your own guides. But whenever I see this one, it does showcase sort of a slow down, a nourishing, nurturing energy that comes through from the mushroom. It represents that moving through different phases in life, a time of change and rest needed within that change. And so I'm really seeing like a simplicity, like the word that I'm really getting here is simplicity. And it doesn't mean that things that are simple, like slowing down or taking a breath, are easy, or simple things to do. But I really feel like you're like taking things that seem complicated, things that feel knotted up, things that feel really overwhelming, and simplifying them down, finding the root, finding the system in which those things are and how they are affecting your life right now, and sort of sorting through them. I really feel like you are purging, simplifying, slowing down in some way. That's really what I'm getting here from mushroom, but I want to see what the other side is, and then we can look into further details. But those are the words that are coming through here, as well as like nourishment, right? Simplifying for a place of nourishment. So the things that you'd be planting energetically there could be grounding exercises, simple things, simple walks, nature walks, getting outside, connecting with nature. I really feel like a lot of those things are coming in. Let's see on the other side here of what you could harvest from this planting of simple, slow down energy, and what you would gain from it, or maybe are already gaining because it is something you've harvested or planted already. And what you got here is Pimpernel. So we have spring. So like I said, some of you might be coming into this pile feeling like you're in the fall, but you want to plant this and you'll gain this in the spring. You know what I mean? So you can see this as timing, but it doesn't have to go that way. We have the number 12, Pimpernel. This is one of my favorites in the deck. It has a lot to do with listening to your own body and what it is telling you. Pimpernel is all about really listening to what your body is trying to communicate to you, is trying to tell you, and trying to show you. There's a lot of gut intuition that comes from Pimpernel, of really listening to your gut and where it's trying to take you. So I feel like by slowing down, by simplifying things, by looking at things and really even unknotting the network of things that you have in your mind right now in your life, and unknotting and simplifying those down. In doing so, I think you're going to be able to really listen to your body more. Sometimes we're constantly listening to this thought, this thing that I need to do, constantly reaching for the next thing, besting ourselves, moving up, don't let ourselves plateau, right? We're always going and going and going and going and going, and there's always another thing right after the one we just finished, or many things happening simultaneously, that without simplifying, without purging, without getting to the root of what is the priority of what we really need in our lives to feel nourished, to feel that sustenance that we need, and getting rid of the excess. Without doing those sort of things, you can't really get to that feeling of Pimpernel, of being able to listen to your body's needs, listen to what your mind needs, because there's too much just happening. There's too much chatter, socially, through social media, through our work, through what we're putting ourselves out there to do. So genuinely, I just feel like you can't listen to your inner compass. Your inner compass is being kind of like covered in weeds because you're not able to gain that without first planting this mushroom. card. So I'm hoping that makes sense, but I want to look into more details on each of them so we can see a little bit more on what maybe needs to be sorted out and how you will gain this from doing so. So let's see more energy on this. Do feel free to send your energy in, as always. Okay, so we have the Fool showing up here with the number 0. Let's see anything else. Group 2. So you also have, interestingly, the number 2. So with this, we have 1, 2, we have 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? So it's like, I feel like things are out of order. That's how the numbers are making me feel, like things are out of order. You're trying to do things too quickly and it's getting knotted up. With the 2 of Rods, it represents sometimes the number 2 in any form in tarot represents sort of a crossroads or a crossing that you're at. And so you might be right now in a very pivotal point in your life that you have the opportunity to sort of sort things out in the in-between before moving on to new projects, before, moving to the next thing in the road, which is really interesting because Pimpernel also represents crossroads, usually represents being at a crossroads as well, and needing to listen to your inner compass to know what's next. And right now, I don't feel like you're listening to your inner compass. I don't feel like you're listening to yourself. Rather, you're listening to maybe the rules of society and saying, like, I need to have a family now, or I need to be going to university now, or I'm 50 and this means I can't do A, B, and C anymore, right? Listening to the rules that have been kind of placed on us by society and not really listening to what our inner gut and our inner self is telling us. So there is sort of a disconnect there. And I feel like this planting is all about reconnecting in the center here and pausing at the crossroads versus feeling like you just need to take the next road, take the next step, turn left, turn right, move forward, move sideways. It's about pausing and simplifying. And the Fool is showcasing taking that first step, but taking it very carefully, really listening to what your body needs, really listening to what your muscles, your bones, your history, everything that you've gone through is really telling you to go to the next thing. And that only comes through reflection. That only comes through that. The Fool sometimes can be very impulsive, can be very quick moving, and they don't think things through. They can be quite naive in that way. And I think that that's what's coming through most, and that's why this need for planting this mushroom energy of simplifying, purging, coming back to the basics, pausing at that crossroads is going to be so useful and helpful to you at this time. So let's see a little bit more on Pimpernel here and see what else is coming through here. And like I said, I feel like this has a lot to do with the reason why maybe you're feeling those societal pressures, or maybe because you're hitting like a new stage in your life, as in like you're moving from your 20s to your 30s, or your 30s to your 40s, or you're hitting somewhere in between. And I feel like there's just that expectation, especially based on a life phase that you're in. I'm getting that from that phase of the moon energy. So let's see, Pimpernel, what is coming through? How are we going to be able to move from this energy and gain that intuitive, sort of intuition, instinct that you'll be gaining again to know where to go next? So we have the 8 of Cups here, which is really interesting to get the 8 of Cups. Because it usually does represent letting go, shifting and moving towards something else. And it also represents finally taking a step forward. It usually showcases someone sort of retreating from a bunch of cups, and the cups representing your emotional ties towards something, and you being able to leave those behind, those emotional ties, right? And this is where you're all knotted up and tied up in your emotions towards what you should be doing, where you should be going, what other people have on you, the belief systems that you are kind of feeling chained down towards. And by cutting those chains, unknotting and untying them, you'll be gaining so much more clarity in yourself and what direction you want to take. Because it usually does showcase, again, someone walking away from those and being able to gain that clarity to move forward. You can also see from just the card itself, it showcases different potions here. And it says, let go, soul's journey, the void, wake up potion, aura cleanse, and despair. And it's also hiding a couple of other things that you would even be learning more as you take a new path. But I think these are only available to you when you allow yourself to let go of something that you've been knotted in for quite a while. And so what you're planting is actually like the opposite of planting, you know what I mean? Like you're not planting something new to grow in terms of like a new career, a new job, a new this. It's more something on the inside, so you can, unknot things, almost like a pair of scissors for yourself. But there should be one more card here, so let's see a little bit more. Okay, and then we have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is a like soul connection. It represents being able to understand. It really feels like a reconnecting with your own self, a sense of self. And, sometimes we don't really know what we want or what our identity is, or we go through this moment of feeling on a rocky infrastructure, right? Especially when so much has grown there and like the soil isn't really good to grow anything anymore. And I feel like by you taking these steps, what you're going to harvest so much from it is to be able to listen to yourself fully and honestly and earnestly, and from a place of compassion and tenderness that's coming through from this card. And that you're going to be able to bring a lot more self-compassion to yourself, and that you're also able to listen to your own voice and needs and what that is taking you towards. I know I'm not being very specific about like career or, other things that maybe you might have came here for, but I feel like you're going to gain so much more from untangling things on the inside versus trying to focus on outside chatter that's happening in your life right now. Like, it doesn't have to be physical chatter, but like, that overwhelming scope of things that are happening on the external, and rather focusing back on the internal and what could be done there. So I want to look a little further. We're going to pull you a couple of cards here on some advice from Spirit going forward. So you're welcome to invite your own Spirit team in for this. And if you have been enjoying this reading so far, do be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much, so thank you. But let's see first some more on this mushroom simplicity side. What else is coming through here for advice for group 2? Group 2. Advice into untangling these thoughts, these expectations. Thought I felt one, but I'm going to keep going. Group 2. Okay, so it says dream. Have a cup in the garden and find yourself a good book. Right? I think maybe you haven't been able to listen to your own dreams, fantasies, excitement, desires in a really long time as well. It feels like as I talk about it, it literally feels like I can feel like a tightening of like your heart, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like there's been these ropes tied around those desires and passions and goals that you've wanted for so long. And I don't feel like it's anyone's fault. I don't think anyone necessarily has been like one specific person has been like holding you back. But I do feel like by kind of cutting those ties that have been kind of, holding your heart so intensely, I feel like you're going to be able to dream a lot more and yearn a lot, feel a lot more than you did before. So I think it's most important for you to start being able to plant that simplicity into your life by first untangling, so that you can see the dreams that are hidden underneath, right? I feel like they're telling you that there's a whole other story, a whole other book, a whole other chapter to be written. But first you have to like allow the pen and the paper to settle, right? And allow yourself to untangle the thoughts that someone else has already written on the page for you. So let's see the other side, group 2, with Pimpernel, and what you'll be harvesting. Group 2. Ooh, wild flower. It says here, live an uncontrolled life, free to grow anywhere and bound to nothing. We were just talking about how I felt like you had all these bounds around your heart, around your dreams, fantasies, and desires, and that you're able to cut those and have such a wild, free life afterwards by taking these and stripping those beliefs and expectations down, so that you can be able to build back up again with something new, or to go on this crossroads because you know in your heart that that's where you want to go. Wow, very powerful stuff, very powerful. So we have Wildflower, live an uncontrolled life, free to grow anywhere and bound by nothing. I honestly feel like a lot of you, like I said, because of this life stage change too, it's made that unsettled feeling. And I feel like you're going to feel a lot more settled in yourself and what your wants, needs, dreams, and desires are afterwards. And I don't feel like this is going to be specific to like only these next 6 months. I feel like it's something that you're going to be working through over a couple of years even. But I do think you're going to have that first planting over these next 6 months. So let's get a final card here, and then we'll do some charms for you with some tarot cards. So we're going to look here for the bridge between the two, any extra information that we need from Spirit or advice that's coming through, any more clarity that is needed. Group 2. Okay, so we got 2 cards, which also happened last time for group 1. So we have both the 8 of Pentacles and the 2 of Cups again. So we have the 2 of Cups showing up twice. So I really think that some of you also might be harvesting a romantic relationship with someone, right? But I did feel like this felt like a very like a connection back to yourself. And that I don't feel like it's about soulmates or other people. Like, I really feel like it's just connecting with your own soul again and being able to have that conversation with your needs, wants, and desires again. And that it's going to be a lot of hard work. I don't think, like I said, I feel like you have to plant this several times, repeat it several times to yourself to break down these bonds and these ties that you've had for so long towards these expectations of where your growth needs to be at XYZ time in your life. And I really feel like to let go of those expectations isn't going to be easy, and it's only going to happen through repetition. The more that you try, the better you get at it, and the more likely you're going to be able to gain this connection to yourself, to your own wants, desires, needs, and to be able to reconnect with yourself again. So I really see that coming through for you, but we're going to finish off with the charms. So we're going to cast them right on top to get those last little bits and bobs details. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. And let's go. Group 2, you're planting and harvesting here. Okay, so not a ton of charms, to be honest, but let's see. So the 2 charms that you got on this side, unsurprisingly, are both the only 2 that I have in my entire set, which is funny because, like, there's a lot of charms in here. The only 2 that have charms relating to chains. So we have here this chain, a golden chain. This usually can represent chains around career and expectations on those, something that's binding you there around career or around job or around purpose in life. And that's showing up here around both your dreams and that foolish energy that we talked about earlier. And then connected to that as well is the charm of, this is chains, right? We have a chain here, but between them are different steps to get out of that. And it kind of reminds me of like the chain here that we have here with the 8 of Pentacles, of like taking one step at a time, and it's going to lead you towards this connection with self, and it's going to be a longer process than you think, and one that's going to take time, but is well worth the reward at the end, is well worth the soul connection that you gain back to yourself once again, because I feel like you've lost a lot of your identity, your purpose, your reason for doing the things that you feel like you were meant to be doing, and kind of reflecting on those and realizing where that has gotten shifted and changed over time. Or where that expectation is. This also can represent a spirit or a guide helping you along the way as well. You can see a lot of assistance coming in from the universe or from your own personal spirit team. So that's really lovely to see as well. On the other side, the only charm that we got was between that letting go side of things, walking away from those emotional ties, and that 2 of Cups energy. You have the treble clef. And this usually represents being able to sing your own song on your own key, right? Because the treble clef, yes, we can think of music and things, but those of you who actually have studied music before will know that this also tells us what key we're in. It lets us, it's almost like as if you're figuring out the frequency of what you are going to be playing within. If you think of it like a radio, like you're finding the radio station, so everyone's on the same frequency. So I really feel like it's like you being able to listen to your own frequencies and go on your own music and not having to listen to other people's or having to constantly change the frequency to meet up with other people's expectations. And in doing so, you're going to find the frequency that leads back to yourself. So some really powerful stuff happening here for you, group 2. I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a really if you decide to really plant this, that this is going to be a really transformative season for you, and even beyond this or over the next couple of seasons. I could really see this being a very transformative time for you, especially within your identity, your own personal expectations on yourself from society and things like that. So really be gentle and tender with yourself as you go through this. It's not going to be a perfect thing, but I really do see a lot of inner transformation that will lead towards outer transformation for yourself. So I hope you did enjoy this reading. If you did, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below how it resonated for you and any plans you might be having for the new season that you're in for spring or fall. I'd love to hear. I'm excited for some nature walks personally. And if you'd like to, do be sure to subscribe as I put out new videos every single Monday, and would love to have you here for your own personal self-growth over these next few months. I'd love for you to be able to see what you might be changing over the next 6 months, because I will be doing this reading again 6 months from now, and it'd be cool to see how that changes for you. So do be sure to subscribe or hit the notification bell to stay notified on those videos coming in. You're also welcome to check out the different ways you can support this space with the Kindred tip jar down below. It's a great way to bring things back into the channel and support this space, and everything that goes in there goes right back into the channel. You're also welcome to check out the snail mail readings if you'd like to have a personal reading where we can really go into this or other things in your life more in depth. I'd love to be able to do that and support you through that as well. So do feel free to check all of that out down below, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this piece of emerald with this shiny mica in it, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set your little emerald right down here so you can see it during your reading today, as we are going to be looking into both what you are planting and harvesting over these next 6 months, and especially as we are today going through a big equinox. So those of you who are watching this as of when I post it, we are going through the spring or fall equinox, depending on if you are in the northern or southern hemisphere. But what I want to preface with this is that no matter which hemisphere, no matter what season that you are going into right now, it doesn't mean that if you're in spring, you can only plant things, and if you're in the fall, you can only harvest things, right? We can be in the far reaches of winter and still feel motivated to plant something new in our lives. And same with summer. So why not during these seasons as well? So you might find yourself feeling more connected to the planting side, more connecting to the harvest side, or some sort of mix in between, where I feel like most of you will feel that mix. So do feel free to keep an open mind on timing here. If you feel more connected towards one in your personal circumstance right now, maybe you already planted something energetically in your life that is starting to come to fruition, then listen to how that connects. Or some of you are maybe just starting the planting side and this is to come. So it could come full circle and all over the place. So basically just keep an intuitive open mind here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So all of the different supplies with charms, decks will be down below in the description if you want to see those. But we are going to be starting out first with the Seed and Sickle Oracle. I love doing these, using this for this specific reading that I've done twice now. So those of you who have watched all 3, I'd love to know. But we are going to be using this one because it has beautiful botanicals, but also these dusk and dawn meanings that perfectly align with this type of reading. So we're going to start out first with what you are planting right now. So do feel free to get settled, get yourself comfortable, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. And let's go. Group 3. What do you have coming in for planting energy? Whether you've already planted this or are in the means to do so. So you have here aconite with the number 46, and it is also in the winter suit, as you can see with these little snowflakes here. And aconite's a really interesting one. It has a lot to do with kind of gaining focus. As you can see, there's a lot of focus and direction happening here, a directive. There's this little key. Whenever I'm seeing this, it usually represents an opportunity for you to plant a new skill in your life, right? A new focus, a new hobby, a new skill to take up. And so this feels very literal, where the last two piles have had things that have felt very, especially the last one that felt very like hard to explain. Yours feels very literal in your life, right? A new hobby, a new skill, something you can physically do, like learning how to knit, learning how to do something in computer science, a new math problem, archery, any kind of skill that it might be, whether hobby or for your career or something else as a resource to you to build up upon. That's really what I'm getting here. It feels very literal. And very focused. I see a lot of drive and focus and willpower when I see this, and a lot of opportunity for growth. So I see this as a really beautiful one to have coming in, and a really useful one as for your own growth in a very practical way. So I see a lot of practicality. So let's see what's going in terms of when you gain this skill, what would you harvest from it? Or, like I said, this could go another way, where you might see this next card and see it as something you've just previously harvested, and because of that, that's inspired you to plant something new. So we're going to see how that connects for you here. So as always, do feel free to send your energy in, and let's see what is being harvested in for the fruits of your labor for group 3 here. So the one that flipped over, and you actually had two that flipped over, and I decided on this one, but you had dandelion in case that resonates for anyone. But they have very similar energies, the two that are here, so I decided to go with ragwort here. And this is in the fall suit, so you have something happening in the winter and the fall here in case you're looking for timing, as well as the number 36 in case that resonates for anyone. But you have ragwort showing up here. And ragwort is all about bringing a unique set of skills to the table and being able to really work with those, right? So I feel like the new skill that you're working towards is going to be one that brings other people towards you, or other people are going to see the worth in those as you build them up. So basically, like, say you started doing archery and that all of a sudden then brought new friends or new community or new people into your life because they were like, oh wow, I love archery. Or you have a new set of skills that are coming in. Like I said, say maybe you're working on, maybe you're working with like an Adobe program or a new computer program, and you're learning that, and it's very new and a new resource that you have, which makes you more valuable in other people's eyes, or like in a career side of things. But it can also be that it could just be that people could really understand the value in what you are building there and why you're building those skills. And that those skills are going to really open new avenues. As you can see, these little transformative signs of early transformation of these caterpillars, I was going to say clovers, these caterpillars working up these different stems, and each of them leading to different flowers. Those flowers being new opportunities. So you're working your way up this ladder. It kind of feels like a career ladder, right? So for some of you, you might see this as very much like, if I do A and B, if I learn this skill, it leads me to this thing, to this next opportunity. But for others, it might be just that it's opening a new opportunity to you, giving you a split in the crossroads you thought you were on, a fork in the road, a turn, a change, a shift, and that you're going to be gaining something new that you weren't expecting through doing this as well, right? New friendships, new opportunities, new people in your life, those new skills leading to another skill, to another skill. So where this one feels very like practical and like, for lack of a better term, very focused and, on the head here, I really feel like this one is more open-ended. So I'm very curious to see what's coming through with some tarot cards, so we can get some more of the direct details that are coming through. So we're going to start first on the planting side here with those skills that you might be learning, those new resources that you're gaining in your own personal skill set and tool belt. What do you have coming in here? Group 3. For the next 6 months, what is it that you are planting with aconite here? So we have the 3 of coins. Interesting. If you were between this pile and you're not for sure if this is your pile or not, you're welcome to check out pile 1 as well, because you have very similar energy to pile 1, especially with the 3 of coins coming up here, which has a lot to do with collaboration, working with others, community members, collaborating with your personal co-workers, things like that. There could be something happening there where you're gaining a new skill from them, or someone might be inviting you into a new skill. But I want to see a little bit further, because I feel like this one is also a little bit different than pile 1 as well. Ooh, okay. So we have another 3 showing up here more aggressively as well. And this is the 3 of blades, the 3 of swords for others who are more familiar with tarot. So I really see this as, usually it showcases a like pierced heart here. Usually there's a heart between it, but this can represent confusion, it can represent heartbreak, it can represent bittersweet energy. So I do feel like maybe the reason why you need these new skills, or you might be heading towards a new focused place, is from a place of heartbreak, bittersweetness, or that you're gaining clarity over a situation that's been really difficult. So I do think that this is coming from a place of like overcoming a really difficult situation. So if you're in career right now and maybe you've been wanting to switch careers, change careers, move toward something else, or collaborating with a new company or a new place, I could see some of you really making a really big shift and change there. And because of that, that's why you're wanting to gain these new skills. Maybe you are wanting to work with someone in your community, and maybe you're going from something like really corporate and moving towards something more small business with someone that you really trust and want to collaborate with, who isn't giving you that sort of trying to squeeze everything out of you, every ounce out of you, and you're not really getting near as much back. I could see that coming in here. There's a lot that could be shown, and like I said, I feel like you probably know what the situation is, if it's been causing heartache or bittersweet, or this feeling of like confusion even, and that's maybe why you're wanting to learn these new skills or to change your focus in some way. I really see a change in direction and focus, like I was showcasing here with this ragwort. Like some of you might be just kind of splitting off. So it doesn't mean that you're like making a massive drastic change where you're not seeing the same coworkers or seeing the same people. It does feel very career based, but that doesn't have to be career. It can also just be like a split in friendships or anything like that too. But that splitting off can be really still quite healthy. And I think that even though it came from a really kind of crappy place, I think that you're going to gain a lot more from that clarity that you'll gain in the center here. So let's see the other side. So ragwort, a little bit more information on what you'll be gaining and harvesting from these fruits of your labor kind of situation of planting this new skill or resource into your life, a change or shift or splitting off. So we have the 2 of blades, which usually represents being at a crossroads or being very indecisive about things. But I'm honestly getting more of that split off nature, right? We're getting a lot of that energy coming from a really hard situation and then moving into this crossroads, this in-between, this gaining of clarity. So I feel like someone might really push your buttons to the point that you like want to shift careers or shift just slightly towards something else, right? It doesn't mean you have to like move from mathematics to, art, like something that feels very polarizing. It could just be that you're like moving from one job to another across town. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be massive, but I do feel like there could be something that some of you are planting in that practical way. But again, if it's not career based, you might already know where this split is. So let's see. Group 3, a little bit more information. So we also have the Hanged Man or the Hanged One, which I like to see this as taking a situation that it's really about slowing down so that you can see where that crossroads can happen, because it also can mean that like sometimes we're in a situation that sucks and that is really hard and that we want to maybe do something, we want to make a change, and then we kind of pass it. So if you think of it as a crossroads and you're driving down towards this crossroads, say the ring is the crossroads here, you just like go right past it, right? You don't even stop at the stop sign. You just go right through it. And you just keep on going down that same path that may have brought you a lot of pain or confusion or bittersweet energy. And I feel like some of you this is by planting this, you're going to be gaining a new perspective on the whole thing, because the Hanged Man usually showcases someone being hung upside down, so it really showcases that you have to like look from a new perspective. And so the only way to do that is by shifting your perspective, and if you don't do so, then you won't be able to see where that shift happens. You won't be able to see when you needed to turn left, and that only comes from that gain of clarity, that realization that happens in the middle point here. So let's go ahead and start looking into what else is coming in here in terms of advice from Spirit. So like I said, some of it's very practical and very on point, and others are kind of more ambiguous here that you might have to fill in the blanks. But let's see. I also want to point out that you can invite your own spirit team as well in here right now if you'd like to, so we can get some more information. So you got here, move. It says, a rolling stone gathers no moss. And so like I said, I feel like some of you are like moving across town or moving energetically in some way. I really think that like a move is needed here, because otherwise if you just continue down the path, you're going to keep getting that same pain over and over and over again. And it's only at that realization, at that splitting off point, that you're going to be able to realize your worth more, realize, you know, that you have other people around you who can back you up, or might have a better opportunity for you, where you can feel more like your skills are appreciated, right? Like I talked about, a lot of people see the value in your skills, and maybe people right now in your job or in society or in your friend group or wherever it may be where you feel like this pain is coming from, don't understand your value or don't see the value in your skills and what you bring to the table. And that's not necessarily always on you. Like sometimes it does mean that we need to learn new things or whatever, but what's coming through within this is I honestly feel like there's someone who doesn't see your value within your community, and maybe that's your boss, maybe that's your coworkers, but I also feel like there are other people who do see it, and you might be moving on with them. So maybe that realization will come when they leave as well, or when other things might start happening or stirring up and a gain of clarity happens. But when that clarity happens, really listen to it. Take a moment to pause at the stop sign before just moving right on through it, because there might be an opportunity for you to move or to shift or to change or to split off there. So let's see what their advice is for the opposite side here with Ragwort. Let's see. What are you harvesting from this situation, from this change or this shift? And what advice is coming through from Spirit? Okay, what do they have to say here? Rest, slow down, you don't have to solve everything today. So this is honestly feeling like resting at that stop sign. Like I was saying, I feel like you guys need to take a rest and not move through that stop sign. Don't distract yourself from it, because it's very easy for you to not flip the switch here. I feel like it's really easy for you to maybe just stay on the same road of hurt or confusion or lack of value in your job or in your career, or people taking advantage of you. And I really think it's really easy to just stay on that road. And I feel like your advice here is to make sure to stop and really consider the situation a little longer, because I feel like there is a lot more opportunity for you on the other side of this realization than if you don't have the realization at all. And usually when we're in pain, right, we focus on other things or we deflect. And I feel like it's really easy to move through that stop sign and deflect and not really take a moment to consider your options and consider where you have maybe more power in the situation than you had thought before as well. So with that said, let's go ahead and pull you one final card here for advice or clarity or whatever else needs to be coming through here from the cards. And then we're going to pull you some charms. But if you have enjoyed this reading so far, if you've gotten something out of it, do be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much. So thank you. But let's see what Spirit has coming in for you. So like I said, do feel free to invite your own spirit guides, gods, goddesses, the universe, whoever you may work with. And let's see what you got here. So you actually ended up getting 3 cards here. So I'm just going to pull all 3 out. But you got the 10 of Wands, the Queen of Wands, as well as in between those 2 things, the 9 of Pentacles. And the 9 of Pentacles has a lot to do with, like, especially within career, like, it really is the harvest card. It represents really being able to harvest more than you thought out of a situation. It usually has a lot to do with new opportunities and a lot of a lot of work, right, that is put towards this, but being able to finally rest in that. And then having the Queen of Wands and the 10 of Wands in between there is telling me that you're really being possibly undervalued at your job or undervalued at your place of work, that someone might be taking more than you are gaining from the situation. I really do see this abuse of power or even undervaluing yourself, right? I could see you even undervaluing yourself. And I feel like you're not getting what you want out of the situation. And by taking that time and rest and by making that move, right? Because you can almost see this is the road that you could just keep going down, right? And if you get that move and that change and rest, that's where you're going to be gaining the most from your situation. So I really don't think there's a lot more to talk about here. I really feel like it's just repeating itself, but I really do think that Spirit is on your side, is really trying to help you here, is really trying to really listen to signals and signs that they might be sending in as well, through numbers, through like birds or through squirrels or whatever it might be that you listen to from Spirit, whatever messages that you tend to listen to. I really do think they're going to be sending out those realizations, trying to help you find that in between, that splitting off point and when it is right for you. Because I really do think it would be something that would benefit you greatly. So let's see those final details here with the charms, and let's go. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. Let's go, group 3. Alright, so I'm going to zoom you in so you can see. So what I'm seeing here are a few different things. So we have here, by staying in your job, by staying at the place of work that you're at, by staying in the position that you're in, whatever it is that is causing this heartache, if it's not career-based, like I said, it just keeps coming in quite deeply, but I feel like a few of you are going to be like, but my job's great. So for those of you who are feeling that energy, I really do feel like it's giving you a sense of safety, right? And that's maybe why there's that confusion, that bittersweet, like, but if I leave, I'm not going to be getting this or this, the benefits of it. And those are very important. I understand that. But that is what's coming in, and it is showing up here that you're going to gain a lot of security through this splitting off point as well. That it's not just going to be coming from overworking yourself or being undervalued. And that if you don't change the cycle that's happening here, that'll continue. We also have the, this can represent cycles that aren't breaking, but it also represents, like a keychain, right? It reminds me of like what you put all of your keys on, like a little key loop. So I feel like you're also opening yourself up to new opportunities through taking this time of rest, of, kind of understanding, where you are in this cycle and how you can break it. And that's where that rest comes in. And that's also where those signs from Spirit are giving you that clarity. You also have here the move charm showing up here with the little frog. It also looks like a happy face to a lot of people, so you could see this as like a happy face, but I always thought it looked like a little leaping frog. So this also can talk about making really big leaps as well and making very big decisions, and that's why this move is really important. And your last charm is showing up here with the Capricorn energy. So it might be that it is the person that you're feeling this heartache and felt energy from, or this confusion from, even maybe this Queen of Wands boss energy from, is possibly a Capricorn, or it happened around a Capricorn in Capricorn season, around like the tail end of December into January. But we also have ambition or ambitious energy coming in here as well. And so it may also be that by gaining these new skills, you're also going to be gaining new ambitions and more value towards yourself. So overall, those are all of your cards and charms here. I do hope you got something from this reading, and I do hope it has helped you in your personal situation right now. Like I said, you're welcome to not plant this and continue to move forward, and maybe you'll get something wonderful from it still. But I do see that there is this realization, this split off, this change in direction that might be coming towards you. So do look out for the signs and signals from Spirit and see what comes through for you for that, because I really do think that there could be people around you in your community, in your workplace, that are really undervaluing you right now, and that you can gain security and care and value from others and respect from others in another place. So do feel free to ponder on this and see what comes through, rest on it, take some time in to really soak it in and see what comes through. But if you did enjoy this reading, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below how it resonated for you. I'd also love to hear what's going on for your spring and fall season. I've personally been super excited for spring over here, ready for the green and those beautiful violets to start blooming. And if you haven't already, do be sure to subscribe to this channel. I put out new readings every single Monday, and I would love to have you here to join our little community on the internet. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers, so it'd be lovely to have you here alongside all of us. And if you'd like to support this channel and keep it running here, do be sure to check out the Kindred tip jar down below. It is a great way to support the space, and it all goes back into the channel alongside my private readings and personal snail mail readings that I can send to you in the mail for you to treasure and enjoy on any reading that you really are interested in for career, self-love, for spirituality and other things. Do feel free to check all of that out down below as well. So I'm wishing you a wonderful new season, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.